The Tonight Show is the longest-running nighttime talk show on the air. The most frequent change it's had is a new host. Everyone from Steve Allen to Jimmy Fallon has taken over the mantle. Keep watching as Factsverse presents Dark Secrets of the Tonight Show hosts finally come out. Steve Allen. Steve Allen had a spontaneous sense of humor and experience on radio shows. He took over as the first Tonight Show host and created several future staples of the program, including opening monologues, celebrity and pedestrian interviews, audience participation, music, guest performers, and a house vocal group and band. He was so successful, he got his own primetime Sunday variety show in 1956. He shared Tonight Show hosting duties with Ernie Kovacs, who took over on Monday and Tuesday nights. Steve and Ernie left the Tonight Show in January of 1957. NBC wanted him to focus his efforts on his Sunday night variety show, and although that show ended in 1961, he continued to be a recognizable face throughout the 60s and 70s. He also wrote over 50 books and songs and scores for several movies. Steve Allen died October 30th, 2000. A minor injury led to delayed and deadly symptoms. He got into a car accident on the way to his son's home in California. They exchanged information and everything seemed fine until he arrived at his destination. He told his son he wasn't feeling well and had to lie down. He became unresponsive and was pronounced dead by the time he got to the hospital. The crash had ruptured a blood vessel in his chest. It caused blood in his chest to leak into his heart, a condition known as hemopericardium. Jack Parr. Jack Parr left his role as an NBC morning show host to host The Tonight Show in July of 1957. He began restoring faith in the show after the ill-fated experiment known as Tonight, America After Dark. His show was marked as both Tonight and The Jack Parr Show. It was one of the first network shows to be broadcast in color starting in September of 1960. He brought on a band led by his friend pianist Jose Melz to fill commercial breaks. He also allowed guest hosts, one of the first of whom was Johnny Carson. Jack wanted to make a joke about the initials WC being confused for a water closet or a flushing toilet. That was too risque for the time, so it got censored. A real bathroom wasn't shown in a film until 1960's Psycho. He was so upset that he became the only talk show host ever to walk off set on air February 11th, 1960. He didn't come back until March 7th when he waltzed back on stage like nothing had happened and remarked, "As I was saying before I was interrupted." The audience clapped, even when he joked that he'd gone off to look for a better way to make a living and couldn't find one. He did change his schedule to one primetime show a week instead of 5 late-night installments. Jack officially left The Tonight Show in March of 1962. He received a bevy of farewell announcements. His next show was called both The Jack Parr Show and The Jack Parr Program. He died January 27th, 2004. Johnny Carson. Johnny Carson's run on the show was when truly dark secrets started to creep into the program. His "Here's Johnny" catchphrase even famously made it into the horror film The Shining. But that didn't mean he wasn't well received. His contract with NBC meant he couldn't take over from Jack Parr until October 1st, 1962. He started as a guest host, but was so well liked, they let him have the full-time gig. Groucho Marx introduced him and set up his famous catchphrase. He didn't have as bombastic of a personality, but he did keep ratings up. He even managed to influence the public, such as when he played Twister with Ava Gabor or joked about a supposed shortage of toilet paper and convinced the world to buy more of both. He also launched the careers of comedians and guest hosts like Jerry Seinfeld, David Letterman, and Jeff Foxworthy. Jay Leno appeared 333 times and was designated his permanent and only guest host by the 1980s. Johnny was a beloved host, but his real-life baggage appeared on the air. He'd make careless jokes and get into fights during the show, especially with his arch-enemy Bob Hope. Celebrities would even refuse to appear on the show. He also had a complicated personal life. He was a raging alcoholic and gave a candid review about his struggles on 60 Minutes in 1977. That didn't stop him from getting a DUI in '82. It came with a sentence of 3 years probation, an alcohol program, and being forbidden to drive anywhere but to and from work. He was married 4 times, and none were fairy tale romances. He once threatened his 4th wife, Alexis Moss, that he'd leave her on their honeymoon. He married Joanne Copeland, but they split in 1972 after she had an affair with Frank Gifford. He was devastated, but also had lovers, such as model Angel Tompkins. His issues go back to his childhood. He had a terrible relationship with his mother Ruth and often blamed her for everything. It was amazing he was able to put on a happy face for the camera with a history like that. He died January 23rd, 2005. Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien. Johnny Carson wanted David Letterman to take over his spot on The Late Show, but Jay Leno took over instead. He enjoyed better ratings, but was told he'd be replaced in 5 years by Conan O'Brien on September 27, 2004. His final episode was May 29, 2009. NBC didn't want Jay to go to another network, so they gave him The Jay Leno Show in September of 2009. It aired weeknights at 10 p.m. and had strong competition. Conan's stint on The Tonight Show started Monday, June 1st. He had a strong debut week, but dropped off in viewership after that until it got over the competition. The timelines of both shows kept shifting. Leno's show moved to The Tonight Show slot at 11:30 on January 7, 2010, but that was shortened from an hour to 30 minutes to highlight his popular monologue segments. Conan's Tonight Show was moved to 12:05 for the first time in the show's 60-year history. Conan left The Tonight Show with a $45 million payout to the cast and crew. His final episode aired Friday, January 22nd. He then moved to late-night TV with the show Conan from 2010 to 2021. Jay went back to hosting The Tonight Show on March 1st, 2010. His ratings were fragmented, and the ad revenue was too. He was replaced in 2014. There were rumors of Jay making a secret deal with an NBC host to get the host spot over David Letterman. There were also claims he planted fake news stories about Johnny Carson and spied on NBC execs. He even sabotaged, allegedly, Conan's Tonight Show, showing up on set in a costume to make the interview about himself. He denies these claims, but can't deny that he and Conan did have a feud similar to the one he had with David Letterman. They had a major conflict in 2010 when it was up in the air who would host the show. The conflict became a big one, with most celebrities joining Conan's side. Jay wanted to repair his image after that battle by going on Oprah. He admitted to lying about Conan getting The Tonight Show back, but refused to say it was wrong. Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is the most recent Tonight Show host, and he hasn't been able to avoid having dark secrets behind the scenes. He took over the show in 2014. He brought his everyman attitude and comedy appealing to all ages. It made him popular with the world until he was accused of being a toxic boss behind the scenes. Current and former employees told Rolling Stone he had shown up drunk to work and continued drinking on set. They said he could become erratic and forgetful. Their day would be ruined if he wasn't in the right mood. If he wasn't the happy self that the world saw him as, he'd become passive-aggressive and leave harsh feedback. It got to the point where the staff would escape into the guest dressing rooms to cry or even have suicidal thoughts. They also alleged that the 9 showrunners who came throughout his career enabled his behavior. They refused to tell him no to prevent him from getting angry. NBC reps haven't commented, but a spokesperson has said there is an official investigation going on and that they encourage employees to speak out. Now it's time to hear from you. Who is your favorite Tonight Show host of all time? Let us know in the comments section below.